Welcome to another quarantine edition of Cars with Big Boy Trev. I'm Big Boy Trev.
My name is Murigi.
And today we have an amazing show, including something from Nissan. The new X-Trail has been launched, and of course, subtle differences. But first things first.
Let's check out the news.
So on to our first news item, and we go all the way to the Blue Oval, Michigan. The Ford Everest has been launched for 2020. There's a mid-tire level that has been launched for the sub-Saharan market. Now this particular one, you still have the same 2-liter engine, but with a single turbo producing 132 kilowatts and 420 Newton meters of torque. With that power sent to the four-wheel cut is over 10-speed automatic. Now, the most important thing that I've seen about this particular model is now the mid-tire level now comes with a full safety kit. Mr. Murigi, we've tested the Everest before. Have you seen the kind of technology that it has now?
Well, I mean, it's based on the Ford Ranger. Ford Ranger obviously has been a segment leader when it comes to technology,
yes.
Technology in general and technology for safety. So it's very good to see that coming now down to the Everest and coming to across the model range itself. So now that mid-tier version now, of course, now has the less powerful engine, but it's a tried and tested engine, the 2-liter, yes. With that new 10-speed automatic gearbox. It's a really fantastic car. If you want, please check out our review of that. Actually, it's on YouTube if you're able to check that out. And you'll see actually all the features that that car has. So for that to come to a mid-tier is actually very, very incredible and putting a lot of pressure on people in that segment, I have to say.
On to our second news item, and now we go all the way to India. We were there a few months ago, or a month ago, and we were actually looking at the different Mahindra products. But one caught our attention. The Alturas G4,
yeah.
Which is a rival to the Fortuner and the Everest of this particular segment. And I can tell you, the level of tech in that vehicle is amazing. Mr. Murigi, what are your thoughts on that particular car when you looked at it?
Well, first things first, it's important to note that Mahindra bought SsangYong.
Yes.
So that's actually a SsangYong that has been rebranded as a Mahindra.
Yes.
And you have to remember that SsangYong, especially the Musso, was built on Mercedes technology.
Oh, yes.
If you remember from a long time ago.
Yes.
So they've taken that forward because that actually still has that Mercedes, what are you calling the 7G gearbox?
Yes.
But what we saw in India was actually quite surprising. Now, they told us to keep this under wraps, so that's why we've taken a bit of time before we can tell you this. But that is really a spectacular 7-seat car, full leather interior, heated seats. They actually have one of the best infotainment systems I have seen so far.
Yes.
One thing that people keep forgetting is that India is a leader for technology. So when it came into that system, that's actually one of the best implementations of an infotainment system
yes.
that I've seen outside of Audi.
Yes.
And I'm willing to say this on national TV. That was actually quite something. The level of technology, the level of the comfort, and the attention to detail is
yes.
just like anything you'd see from a German.
Yes.
I was really genuinely impressed by that thing. Trevor, we didn't get the chance to drive it,
yes.
But you got some of the specs,
yes.
The engine and the like. What was that about now?
Now, obviously, in this segment, you have players like the Everest and the Toyota Fortuner having quite big power outputs.
Yeah.
Well, this one doesn't disappoint. It has a 2.2-liter four-cylinder turbo diesel, 132 kilowatts and 420 Newton meters of torque. As you must recognize, 400 Newton meters is where most of these players play, so it's still fine. But that paired to the 7G gearbox that's found on most of Mercedes-Benz, current Mercedes-Benz, and you have four-wheel drive, I can tell you this particular car is something, you know, when we drive it, and we're going to experience it soon, it's something that will be exciting on our roads. And of course, the design. It's a SsangYong design, but if you look at it visually, it's amazing. And also, right now, Hyundai have just launched the Telluride, which apparently I do understand it's coming to the Kenyan market at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Same thing, same power outputs, almost similar outputs, but the level of technology and comfort, that's where the growth is. This 7-seater mid-size SUVs, that's where the area of growth is. And of course, now we're happy to see more players coming in. And of course, you do expect the likes of the Toyota and Ford to, you know, step up the game because they are the leaders, of course, and everybody's trying to get that crown. So we can't wait. And obviously, Cars with Big Boy Trev will continue to give you more information on cars that are coming to the country, as always. So guys, today is an amazing day. We at Cars with Big Boy Trev are reviewing the Mercedes GLA. Now you're wondering, why GLA? Is there correlation between GLA and the A-Class? Well, basically, yes. It's basically a jacked up A-Class. Question is, why would Mercedes put a jacked up A-Class on the market? It's simple. The crossover market is growing at an exponential rate, and I can tell you for a fact that mainstream players such as Ford, Nissan, Toyota, and Honda have amazing vehicles who are in the crossover segment, and they give absolute value for money. People want style, class, ground clearance, and of course, absolute value for money. Well, in the premium segment, you have only the players like the BMW X1, the Mercedes GLA, and obviously the Audi Q2. Now, let's talk about this particular car. Look at the styling. Well, as you can see, the front profile basically looks like an A-class, but because you want to give that butch look, you do have a grille that is designed to give that presence. As you can see here, plenty of chromed out grille, and the logo, Mercedes logo, is the three-pointed star. It's quite big to show its presence. And obviously you do have a sculpted bonnet. As you can see, this bold creases gives this car an athletic stance, and obviously the front air dam split, as you can see here, all these are designed to give this particular car the presence that so deserve when you're buying a crossover. What makes it stand out in the crossover segment? Let's look at the side profile. Now on the side profile, you can see here, you do have a silhouette sort of design. It's a coupe design, and it has a floating roofline, as you can see here. And then at the back, you do have an infused rear diffuser. As you can see here, this one, the spoiler is infused with the boot, giving this car a sporty yet off-road look. And as you can see here on the side profile, you do have this cladding over here, the black cladding, to give this car that off-road appeal that so many people so desire. And if you move at the back, as you can see here, it's not just your typical A-class. There's plenty of trim, as you can see, chrome here and over here, just to give this particular car that essence of premiumness. And of course, you do have the styled elongated lights that are slightly smaller on the A-class, but here they elongated to give this car that rare presence that you so desire. And obviously, you do have the two exhausts over here, denoting power and performance. Well, it's got power for its class, and I can tell you, we're going to drive this particular car and show you how much power, performance, and economy it has. Let's step inside and see how this particular car is built. Step inside the splash cabin of the GLA, and I can tell you for a fact, Mercedes-Benz have actually taken the time to design this particular car to give it that premium feel. What am I talking about? Let's look at the dashboard. It's a three-tone actually design, and you do have soft grey touch plastic on the top, and obviously you do have a trim here that looks like stainless steel. It looks like it's a rough matte finish, and obviously you do have this particular trim, the lower part of the dashboard, that corresponds with the color of the seat. With the leather seats here, premium Mercedes-Benz quality seats. Look at the center display and the center console. As you can see here on top, you do have a tablet style design that actually houses the climate control, the radio, and navigation that works in Kenya. And obviously you do have these circular vents that makes it look like a very authentic aircraft, because aircraft normally have this aircraft style of vents. Right below it, you do have now the multimedia information system that is now controlling this particular aspect. So you do have the radio, you can connect your telephone using Bluetooth, and obviously you can also stream music courtesy of Bluetooth, and obviously an SD card, as I can see here. And obviously you also do have USB connectivity as standard in this particular vehicle, and right below it you can actually have the different vehicle dynamic settings. So you do have stability control, you do have hill descent control, obviously, which is, this car is an off-road vehicle, so it has hill descent control, park assist, and obviously start-stop functionality that comes in handy during traffic. So the vehicle switches off if it senses that you're not moving within 45 seconds, and the moment you release your brake off, your foot off the brake, then it goes on, and you're able to save a lot of fuel using this particular feature. Now below it you do have AC, climate control. It's dual zone, so both passenger and driver can actually have different settings for the for the climate. Now, this being a crossover, practicality is the name of the game. And as you can see here, Mercedes have done away with the traditional gear shift. Now the shift is right here. It's a column on the right hand side of the vehicle, and now you do have space for cubby holes. So you can put on your drinks here, you can put your keys, your wallet, even your mobile phone as well. And then you do have two cup holders. I don't know if these cup holders can fit like a proper 500 ml bottle, but you can adjust it as well, as you can see here. And then you can just put it back again, and voila, it's here. This rotary knob is to control this particular system from without taking your hands off the wheel. You can actually adjust the multi-information system quite clearly using this knob. So it's a return and rotary, and then you enter, and you can be able to control all these aspects of here. Obviously, you do have this cubby hole space as well. You do have USBs as well, and charging ports for your telephone, and obviously you do have plenty of space to hide your valuables. moving over to the instrument binnacle, and I can tell you for a fact that Mercedes have stuck with the traditional instrument binnacle. It's a proper needle and dial system. There's no digital here, only on the middle part. So on the right hand side you do have a tachometer, on the left hand side you have a speedometer with a fuel gauge and a temperature gauge on the right hand side, and in the middle you do have the multi-information display that gives you the vital information like what kind of gear you're in, fuel consumption, and obviously gives you range of the vehicle and temperature, ambient temperature outside. The steering is a 3-spoke as well, as you can see. It's perforated and stitched, giving the classy look, and obviously you do have some metal trim on it. On the left hand side you do have controls for the audio system over here. On the right hand side you do have your telephone, volume, and of course you do have cruise control stock right here on this particular car. Paddle shifter standard as well, allows you to pre-select gears easily, accelerate and decelerate easily while driving this GLA, making it a fun car to drive. The seats are comfortable. Big Boy is quite comfortable, as you can see. It's a proper Mercedes-Benz, so lumbar support is fantastic. Head and leg room is good, as you can see. I'm a tall person, still feel comfortable in this particular car. And then you do have, rec and telescopic tilt. So you can adjust it based on your height and preference, and you can have an amazing journey with the GLA. Enough said. Let's move to the back and see if Mr. Murigi is comfortable in this particular car, and he'll give us the practicality aspect of the boot, courtesy of Cars with Big Boy Trev.
This is settling the question of whether this is an SUV or a compact hatchback, because there is actually quite a lot of space in the back here. Very many places to put a lot of stuff. Like you can see over here, there is actually an opening here, and there are cup holders in each of the door pockets over here. We also have ISOFIX points over here for child seats, because this is a car that you can use for families. So what we have is this large panoramic sunroof, which is something you don't see in a lot of hatchbacks, but this brings in a lot of light and makes this a fantastic place to sit, because this is, at the end of the day, a Mercedes-Benz. So let's check out the boot to see just how much more space the GLA has to offer. This has 40% more storage space in the back here. It opens up to reveal a very wide space with a very low load lip, so it's easy to put stuff in and out over here. This car does not have a spare tire, so you have additional space inside here. So this makes it very practical to carry a lot of the stuff that you would need when you're going around town. So let's take this on the road and see what the Mercedes GLA has to offer.
This week on Cars with Big Boy Trev, we talk about some of the grey market imports that you might want to consider in 5 different classes. Starting with compact hatchbacks, the Volkswagen Polo comes in at a cost of around 1 million shillings. This compact hatch from Germany is loved by many due to its premium looks, generous equipment offering, and punchy TSI engines. Buyers have a choice of either diesel or petrol-powered versions, as well as a feisty GTI version for those who desire performance. Moving on to mid-size saloons, the Subaru Legacy comes in at a cost of between 1.3 and 1.7 million shillings. Subaru's iconic Legacy saloon continues to impress with new generation FB engines, larger cabins, and enhanced ergonomics, making it one of the most sought-after saloons in Kenya. One key advantage is its symmetrical all-wheel drive system, which ensures fantastic grip and road holding in all conditions. Switching over to business saloons, the Mercedes-Benz E-Class costs between 2.8 and 3.6 million shillings. The E-Class is the Mercedes definition of flying business class on wheels. Premium materials line the cabin, powerful engines, and plenty of technology make this the most adored executive saloon in Kenya. When it comes to compact crossovers, the Nissan Juke comes in at a cost of between 1.3 and 1.8 million shillings. This soft-roader carved a niche of its own, becoming the best-selling crossover in Europe. Its frog-faced grille gives it a unique and quirky look, loved by the young generation. Based on a platform that is shared between Renault and Nissan, it is powered by a choice of 1.6-litre petrol or a punchy 1.5-litre turbo diesel unit paired to a 6-speed CVT or a manual gearbox. Switching over to soft roaders, the Honda CR-V has a cost of between 2 and 2.6 million shillings. Honda's best-selling SUV has a huge cult following due to its bulletproof reliability and reputation for quality. The new CR-V sports a new intelligent all-wheel drive system that engages the rear wheels only when it detects the loss of grip. the introduction of the 2.4-litre iVTEC engine will definitely appeal to those who seek a spirited drive.
So guys, today I am driving the GLA and I'm on Lusaka Road just outside DT and rolling comfortably in the GLA 250. Now the GLA, like we talked earlier, is based on the A-Class platform, a platform that requires a lot of performance and of course has some fun factor to it because it's a front-wheel drive platform. So we're going to test out and find out the capabilities of this GLA and if it gives absolute value for money. Would you pick this over the Audi Q2 or the BMW X1? Time to show you how this car accelerates from 0 to 100. Remember, this car actually has a 2-litre turbo petrol engine that produces 155 kilowatts or 210 horsepower and 350 newton meters of torque. Percent to the front wheels courtesy of a 7G automatic transmission. So I'm going to flip the paddle to manual mode and then I'm going to launch it right now on 3, 2, 1 as it picks, and there you go. As it shifts, and you can tell the acceleration is sharper. The gearbox allows you to accelerate from 0 to 100 in roughly 6.6 seconds, and you can tell how eager the engine is. That is how fast this GLA 250 is. So if you're in traffic and you find one, please don't battle with it. It is actually a very, very fast car. Handling and suspension, it's a point. It's all about giving you fun and economy while driving this particular car. Fuel consumption, average on a combined cycle is 7.3 liters per 100 kilometers, which is very efficient for such a 2-liter. But the power-to-weight ratio allows this car to be very fun. The chassis is fantastic. It handles extremely well, and you can tell the steering is it's neutral. Doesn't feel overly assisted, yet doesn't feel too light. So as you build up the speed, you're able to tell that this particular car accelerates like this, and the chassis is just amazing. That 2-liter is amazing, I can tell you. 2-liter turbo by Mercedes Benz, amazing. Good power delivery. It doesn't feel like it is struggling to pull, and of course you have enough boost to zoom out and even use the paddle shifters. So you can hear, and I'm on 6. Now I'm on 4, 5. Now reduce. You can hear the engine braking. Amazing. Now that's power. That's real power. Listen to that. Suspension up front, you do have McPherson struts. At the back you have a multi-link coil suspension system that allows you to really, drive this car extremely well and keeps this car planted. And obviously with the raised ground clearance, it's different from what you'd get in an A-Class. So it gives you ample room to go off-road, not like a G-Wagon, but you can go off the Maram tarmac easily without any strain. For that and much more, we're going to join Mr. Murigi. He's going to give us a lot on how it feels on certain roads, be it tarmac, be it Maram or Cabro. Stay tuned.
The question with this car is it an SUV or is it a hatchback? Now it has increased ground clearance and it has full-time 4-wheel drive. So what we're going to do is take it off-road, take it off the road a bit and see if it can handle itself. Now this is not a purpose-built off-road vehicle, so it does not have low range on the gearbox, but it does have good ground clearance and a full-time 4-wheel drive system that Mercedes calls 4MATIC. So we've just turned off the road a bit and we're taking it on what the owner of a car of this kind would do most likely, which is basically you're going to check out the Shamba. You've just gotten off the highway. The lockdown has been lifted, so you can drive outside of Nairobi and you just want to access the farm or go to your rural home. And this is actually doing a really good job with that because the 4-wheel drive system is giving traction to all 4 wheels. It actually has very good ground clearance. And one thing I have to say is the fact that it's been raised means that the suspension has a little more travel, which makes it actually very comfortable when it's off the road. When the road itself is a bit rough, it's actually pretty comfortable. Suspension is eating up a lot of the road's imperfections, and it's doing it really well. I still feel like I'm driving a Mercedes Benz, even though we are in a situation where it's a bit tricky, but this is handling itself with ease. So the power is being put down to all four wheels from that 2-liter engine. 4MATIC by Mercedes, I have to say, it passes the test of being able to turn off the highway and get things done.
So guys, you've driven the GLA extensively, and I can tell you for a fact, it's got absolute value for money. But before we get any further, who are the key rivals of this particular car?
Well, this entire segment started with the BMW X1,
yes,
and there's also now the Audi Q3.
Yes.
We have to remember that this is a premium compact SUV segment.
Yes, yes.
Premium being the key here.
Yes.
Yes.
And how much does it cost right now?
So at the moment, with the reduction of VAT, this is coming in starting at 8.4 million shillings.
Yes.
And you must remember that the new version of the GLA is coming in, so you need to get this as soon as possible.
Guys, if you need to have any discount or just, visit DTW, they'll give you all the details about this particular GLA and the new one. But this one is going at a heavily discounted price. And obviously it comes with a 3-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty, whichever comes first. Well, that's it, folks. Thank you so much for joining us on Cars with Big Boy Trev. We do understand it's curfew time, so you have to wrap it up. This is Big Boy Trev.
This is Birigi. Drive safe
and be safe.